Hi there, it's Irit, and I have a new process video, and this one is for Shimmerz. And this is the layout I will be creating. And for this one, I used a new product, but I'll get to that a bit later. So I got a few new products, new to me and new to Shimmerz, to play with. And what I'm doing now is, this will not be on my final layout as you saw, but I'm just showing you. I like to play around when I get new things that I'm not really familiar with and I don't know how they behave. So I like to try out things. And these are the new Shimmerz paints. I think they were one of the first products Shimmerz came out with. And unlike the inklings and the creamies and the new Aqua Huez that come dry and you have to add water, these ones are ready to go. So you just have to stir them to get all the ingredients incorporated, and then you can use them. They are super shimmery. They have now a new formulation and they are really, really gorgeous. I will use them on future projects. But here I was just playing around. So one of the things I tried to do was stamp with them, and you can see that it worked really well. You have to get kind of the right amount of paint on the stamp. So I think less is better than more in this case. And also you don't want a super detailed stamp, because that won't work so well. That blue shade that I used is just gorgeous. It's called Anchors Away, and it's a really lovely shade of blue. And this one I'm using now, sorry about my head there, is called Under My Skin, and it's a gorgeous shimmery, yeah, I guess kind of a light brown with a bit of gray in it. It's really, really beautiful. And yeah, so I'm just using, I like to do this a lot. I play with paints and watercolors on a piece of paper, and then I cut out the pieces that I like and use them on a layout. This way you have a lot more control and you're not messing up your whole background. And just a couple of words on these stamps. Both sets that I've used here are from Altin New, and the first one I used is called Beautiful Day, and this one I'm using now, I love it. It's just my style, kind of sketchy looking. It's called Wild Hibiscus, and yeah, it has a bunch of like these sketchy flowers that you can really have fun with coloring them, and that's what's going to end up on my layout. So I'm just stamping a bunch of them on this paper, and this is a paper, it's from Canson, and it's called drawing paper. It's actually not so heavyweight, but I really like it. First of all, it handles water relatively okay. I don't use a lot of water when I use it, but it doesn't buckle too much, so it's kind of my go-to paper when I want to do something like this, which is, you know, draw something or color something in and then cut it out. Because it's not so thick, it's much easier to fussy cut it, as opposed to watercolor paper, which can handle more water but is harder to cut. And I'm just playing around now. I wanted to know how the shimmer paints reacted to the Aqua Huez, which are these watercolors I'm using now, and I will talk about them in a second. So the shimmer paints, as far as I could tell, they are not permanent, so they will reactivate if you add some water to them once they're dry, but you know, you have to kind of mess with them a little bit to get that color working again. So they actually kind of resisted the watercolors, and it was really nice. You could easily paint the other areas in the stamped image with watercolor without getting a huge mess. So, Aqua Huez. These are a new product from Shimmerz. These are flat watercolors, so there is no shimmer in them. And they are really, really fun to use. The cool thing is that you can assemble your own palette. There are a lot of colors, and you can create a set of 10 that come in this box. Now, mine has 11 in them, and you can see that it's a bit, it looks kind of wonky, and it's kind of tight there. So this box comes with 10 shades that you can choose and a water brush that is lying next to it. I happen to have one of these in my stash already, and it's kind of my favorite water brush. So you get that also with the set. How to choose colors? That's a really tough one. What can I say? I would say if you know which colors you like to use, if you know that you'll never use, I don't know, brown or green, then don't buy brown or green. Just make your own palette and buy only the colors you use. If you love only pink and blue or pink and teal, then just buy a bunch of those colors, and you know that you will use them because those are the colors you want. If you're not sure, or if you don't have a lot of watercolors and you really want to get the most out of these, I would suggest going for the brighter colors because they will give you more options. You can mix, if you have the primaries, you can mix so many shades out of them. So, and also with watercolors, if you add water to them, you lighten the color. So for example, if you get a very bright pink, if you will add a lot of water to it, you'll get a lighter pink. So you don't necessarily have to buy a lighter pink. Of course, it's nice when you have colors that you can just use and you don't have to think about mixing or changing the shade, but this is just like my advice if you want to get the most and you're on a budget or something. So go for the bright ones. Now, this layout started with my daughter painting circles using the Aqua Huez and the water brush on just a piece of that Canson drawing paper that I mentioned. And this is another really great way to just play around, especially with a new product that you're not sure how the colors look. With watercolors, they never look like they do in the pan. So unlike the Shimmerz paints that look on the paper as they look in the jar, with watercolors, especially the intense ones, they are just dark. All you see is a really dark color, and you can't tell how they look actually on paper. So I always recommend making swatches of any watercolor you have. But this is also a really great way just to see how they look, how they blend, how they behave if you add more water, little water. So and then you can, use the ones you like on your layout. So just make a page full of circles or triangles or squares or stars or hearts or whatever you want, or even just stripes, and then you can cut out the pieces you like or punch them out. So these are my circles. My daughter created them. These are really simple to use. They wash easily, so you can get messy and not worry too much about it. You can have your kids play with them. She had a good time coloring a bit and feeling like mommy, like she was playing with my goodies. She always wants to play with all the pretty stuff. So I have 12 of the Aqua Huez, and I would say my favorite colors, they're all really gorgeous, but probably hottie pink. I love that. It's like a really bright pink. It's beautiful. And seeing red, this was actually, I wasn't sure, when I got it, but it's a beautiful shade of red. It has a little bit, I guess, like an orangey peachy tone to it. I don't know, like a warm pink tone. I love it. I think it's a great color. And I think a few of the circles are with that color. I have Blew Me Away. That's a really nice shade of bright blue. It's kind of, I guess, a warm blue. So a blue that has a more yellow undertones to it. It's not really turquoise, but it's almost there. And so that's a really great color. Pot of Gold is a nice bright yellow. And I think those are probably 4 of my favorites. The green that I got is also nice. It's called Seaweed. But green is a mixture of yellow and blue, so you could mix that yourself if you prefer buying other shades. Another really pretty color is African Violet. It's kind of, I guess somewhere between pink and purple. It's really beautiful. So I think those are the ones that, I think those are my favorites. And you can see just like these kind of, I don't know, bubblegum candy colors are just gorgeous, and they work so well, I think, with every layout, but especially with a baby layout. Excuse me. So I started with kind of spreading them around on my background, kind of in a, I don't know, confetti or bokeh look. And then I tried like to make these clusters, and I really liked that because it reminded me of balloons, and I just thought it looked really cute. You could draw like the string of a balloon and kind of add that as an element. So I kind of played with them around, and then I felt I needed another flower in a particular color because I was matching a bit the flowers to the circles like I like to color match. So that's also the nice thing about creating elements this way. You can just make as many as you want and in whichever colors you want, and if they don't look right, just make a new one. So that's why I like to work like that. And if you want some more ideas on how to play with mixed media and watercolors and pastes and all those goodies, but still create layouts that look fresh and clean, check out my classes on Big Picture Classes. There are links to the classes on my blog. So if that's something you're interested in. I know a lot of people feel a bit intimidated to play with mixed media, or they don't really like to like the messy look. So sorry. So I think you will find some great ideas in my classes. Enough about that. So you can see what I did here. I'm just playing around, and that hello kind of speech bubble is from Amy Tangerine from her newest collection, which is called Better Together. And I got that from my February hip kits. They were next to me, so I pulled them out. I think it looks really cute. The photo is just a really cute photo of my baby, my baby girl. And she's really like smiling in that photo and just looking really cute. This was kind of the day, this was the day that she turned from her back to her stomach, like to her tummy for the first time. And, we were all very excited and she was very proud. So, so I took these photos. And, the layout is almost done. I kind of wanted a bit to add something to it, and I end up going through my puffy sticker stash and I grab a few puffy stickers. Now I want to say I have, you can see this is a 2.5-month-old baby. I have a lot less time. I don't know if that's grammatically correct. I don't have a lot of time to scrapbook. And sometimes, you know, I don't scrapbook for days and days, and then it can be hard to get back to this creative mode. And I have to say, when I created this layout, I did struggle with the concepts. So I turned to my inspirations, or some of my inspirations. There are so many great scrapbookers out there. But what I first had in mind is that these circles that I cut out, they reminded me of a layout that Vilna Furstenberg did for one of her older art classes, which are amazing, by the way. And you can find them on her blog. But she did something like that with gelatos, if memory serves. And so that was kind of in the back of my mind, and I thought that would be nice. Her finished layout looks completely different than this, but that's where I kind of started with these circles, with these cutout circles on my layout. And then with the puffy stickers, I thought about Soap House Mama. So she does a lot of art journaling where she doodles these little hearts, not hearts, houses, kind of on, I don't know, circles or something like that. So that reminded me of that, and that's why I put that little house kind of on an angle. And then the final edition is this black and white stripe paper, which my good friend Suze Fish, who has the most amazing layouts, she really loves to add that pop of black and white. So yeah, I thought that was a great finishing touch. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some ideas. Please check the Shimmerz website for Aqua Huez and all these really pretty products. Have a lovely day. Bye.